Today we're talking about Into the SpiderVerse. That's not right. That was the first one. Today we're talking about Outside the Spider-Verse. Which one was this called?
Across the Spider-Verse, you idiot.
We're talking about Across the
Oh
Spider-Verse.
my God.
And as well as other topics like, The Flash and stuff. Maybe. We might talk about it, but who knows? This podcast isn't planned at all, and we don't know what we're talking about. We'll get back to you right after this intro. Welcome back. Have you lost respect for me, Michael?
Yes.
How dare you have the audacity?
Says
looking like that. Says what?
Says a lot, doesn't it?
Says a lot. Him sitting like that?
I am a Star Wars fan, okay, of the original trilogy. Yes, these glasses were from the Force Awakens premiere.
Oh, yeah, that does say a lot.
But look, I think these shades make me look cool. What can I say?
No, Force Awakens is a good movie. I don't like the sequels, but the Force Awakens is a good movie.
Jacob, this episode is not about me arguing with you about Force Awakens.
We can start right now.
I am not going to do that.
Take this outside.
I'm not doing that. Look, after the Zack Snyder debate, I just want to talk about something where we can agree
But
on
look, here,
okay?
we actually can agree on this. We can agree on many things about this one. So, Spider-Verse, we all got to go see Spider-Verse. Liam, you and I got to go see it alone. You got to go see it a few days ago.
With me?
I think we all generally have very good things to say about it, minus a few bad things.
Yeah.
Liam, animation style, this has been one of the most creatively animated movies of all freaking time. It is incredible, this stuff that they're able to do, and you can understand why it took 4 freaking years to make this thing after the first one, because of the amount of stuff that's involved in this thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, because when Into the Spider-Verse came out, it kind of inspired all the future animated films that came afterwards, and the chase sequence alone took 4 years to make, which... Oh my gosh, totally worth it. I can see the effort that was put into it, and it was gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I don't know who this is, but I know for the Legos. Okay, so we are going to go into spoilers for Into the Spider-Verse. I am saying this because I'm very nice to the people who listen to the podcast. Liam doesn't give a crap.
Miles
and will probably
Morales
shut your mouth.
is in another dimension.
Stop. I hate you.
No one loves your opinion. Anyway, Liam's opinion doesn't matter. We are going to go into some spoilers for the Spider-Verse. We will go into very deep spoilers for the Spider-Verse. So there's a Lego sequence in this movie. And it was animated by a 14-year-old.
Mm-hmm. Wait, really?
Yeah, I'm not kidding you. So a 14-year-old, they made a trailer for Into the Spider-Verse based off the actual trailer for Into the Spider-Verse. And one of the animators, or the 2 directors, and so they had this Lego sequence and a 14-year-old kid animated, and those 2 were so impressed with the 14-year-old kid's animation of the trailer that he just said, do you want to just, work on this movie? And this kid, he's in school. And so he was, working on this animated sequence, while he was doing homework, and he's like, "Hey, I'll get back." I think he was working through spring break or summer break or something, and he said "Hey, I'll get this sequence done when I finish my homework." Is one of the sentences that happened. So that was a really cool thing that happened, and it's impressive that a 14-year-old kid has way more clout and way more experience and way more success than we ever will. So,
You doubt us?
Yes,
I doubt us.
Fair.
No, that's super awesome. And the movie is truly just a spectacle. It is incredible to look at. I have to say, 95% of the time when things were going on on screen, I was like, this is incredible. This is so close to being a masterpiece.
Yeah.
So close.
It's so, and okay, there's a little bit of an issue I have with information overload. We'll get to that in a bit when we talk about some of the negatives. But the fact that there's so much detail in this movie. There's 6,000 different Spider-Man in the back. Last time we got a few new Spider-Man. That's cool. That's great. We got Spider-Pig. We got the anime, whatever. And then we got
Spider-Man Noir?
Spider-Man Noir. Played by the man Nicolas Cage.
That was my favorite one, to be honest.
So good. It's where's that wind coming from? But we got a few of them. That's cool. That's great. This one, we got all of them. We have all the Spider-Man of all time. You got Amazing Spider-Man or Spectacular Spider-Man from back in the day. You have the live-action Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. No Tom Holland. probably because of a Marvel thing. But you have a nod to Venom. You have a nod to all of the other old anime Spider-Mans or animated Spider-Mans. You got the original cartoon Spider-Man in there. What are the other ones that we saw?
Well, we had Spider-Rex. We had
Spider-Rex.
Spider-Rex. We had the Spider-Cat. But as far as the main cast goes, we have Hobie Brown, Spider-Punk, and we have, I can't even pronounce his name, so we're going to say Spider-Man India, who honestly is probably my favorite character in the film.
That was, oh man.
He was so good.
I loved everything that happened in his universe. That was all so good. Oh.
I loved the little moment. Like, again, this could have been taken so horribly, but the fact that it was played for laughs when the hole was sucking down buildings and stuff, and like the emo Spider-Man, or instead of like the punk Spider-Man, he looked over and said, "It's a metaphor for capitalism."
It's a metaphor for capitalism.
God,
it's so funny.
Well, my favorite part is when Indian Spider-Man jumps over, and like, and I don't work out. I'm naturally buff, and I don't work out because I don't want to get too big, you know.
He was so good, and like describing his like absolutely perfect Spider-Man life was so awesome.
How he's going on about chai tea and how chai means tea.
Yes,
you can't say
chai
tea,
means tea,
which was a which honestly was really good, mainly because it was a throwback to the beginning when Miles Morales was talking about. It's why do they call it an ATM machine? The M means machine, and all that.
Yeah, that was true.
Which I thought was just perfect continuity right there.
Yeah, I wonder how much of this film is actually like improv, because it's all anime. All animation is so detailed, but how much of that is just like bullcrap going on behind the scenes? Because that's like hours of extra animation that you have to do for that.
Another thing about Indian Spider-Man is that he's played by the guy that plays the taxi driver in Deadpool.
He's Dopender?
Yeah, Dopender.
Oh my gosh. That guy's
it's the
the best.
Same guy. It is the same guy.
That guy's a legend.
This movie is starting to get even better for me. Honestly,
I love that man
the new
so
info
much.
I'm getting.
But what I want to do is we want to start from the beginning and kind of go through the entire film and break it down. So it opens up with Gwen Stacy talking about the whole story of the previous movie, and it actually goes through her story involving her version of Peter Parker and their relationship, and ultimately his death and all that. And I was a big fan of that because it helped build her character a little bit, which we didn't get to see a lot of in the previous film. The most character development we really got with her was like a scene or two, but it was mainly focused on Miles because it was Miles' movie. What did everyone think about the opening 15 minutes and the approach to that?
I'm happy that we actually got more character out of this girl. Like in the first movie, it wasn't... I mean, the story's not necessarily about her, so I'm fine with her just being a side character, but I would like to get a little more of her character rather than her just being like the discount strong female lead. But this time we actually got to see what she's like, what she likes, and like what's her life outside of this stuff. We actually got to see her being a part of the band for a second, and like what that's like and what she's going through, and the fact that she has to deal with her dead friend for all of this time, and the fact the revelation at the end of that 15 minutes when her dad figured out that she was Spider-Gwen or Spider-Woman, and he pointed a freaking gun at his daughter, and that whole sequence that opened up a whole new dynamic with that
I will
relationship.
say I actually think everything with her, the first 15-20 minutes with her, I actually think that's probably one of my favorite parts of the entire film.
Really?
Oh yeah, I think what I really love, like my favorite, like I actually think it might be one of my favorite like action set pieces too, because the thing with like the helicopter, that was so cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, how she avoided the blades. Oh, like I thought that was just so fucking good, and I do like the character development that we got with her, and also just a lot of the scenes in general were really good. The only thing I didn't like in the first 15 to 20 minutes.
Oh yeah.
I saw it in the background, and I won't say I was livid, but I will say I was disappointed.
I was livid.
I mean,
with the blatant propaganda in the background.
We'll get into that in a second.
Oh my gosh.
We'll use that for a specific transition in a second.
We'll save that for the transition when we rate the movie.
Transition. That's funny. That's really good. That's really good.
Now YouTube is going to demonetize us, but we're not monetized. So
this is true.
There we go.
But no, seriously, almost everything, not just with the first 15, 20 minutes of her, but like I think she was just one of my favorite characters in that entire movie.
Oh
honestly.
yeah, and the fact that she's played by Haley Steinfeld, who is like,
Also,
I'm just saying.
what I really appreciate is that she's not the generic Mary Sue where she's just good at everything. She makes plenty of mistakes. She's not perfect, and that really endeared me to the character more.
Yeah, especially near the end of this movie where she actually did to emote a lot of regret and a lot of like her entire character is like compromised throughout the entire movie and is forced to make some terrible decisions for her friends, for people that she actually cares about, for the greater good. And you see that worry and frustration in her acting and Haley Stanfield's performance, and I really appreciate about that character and gave her a lot more depth.
Now, I want to break down the artistic decisions of that opening.
Oh yeah, I
especially
have
the okay. So Jacob here does not like it. I actually love it. I don't know what your
That's-
opinion
that-
is.
okay,
Hold
so-
on. Stop right there. Before I get ready. All right. No, I want to get your opinion on this. How in the shot reverse shots between Gwen and her dad, how there's different color schemes. How when the emotional beats hit, the watercolors in the background kind of fall down. What did you think of that artistic
great.
style? See, I
great.
think it is wonderful, especially
I
when
really
she,
like that.
When she's all blue, she goes to hug her dad. The room warms
Because
up.
that's the great thing about animation is that you can do these interesting shots and play with color like that. Right? That's why I love animation so much. I mean, I don't think you can really. I mean, I'm sure you could do that now with CG and like other random effects, but it's not the same as with like an actual like a talented animation team working on a film or show. No, I liked it.
I don't mind the watercolors. But my problem is the constant changing background. So just to clarify, when we're in Gwen Stacy's world and there's a conversation happening in between her and her dad, the background is constantly changing. And what I mean by that is it's not just changing from like one color to another. It's changing like different brushstrokes are changing in the background. So it's incredibly distracting for me. Like the effects itself are beautiful. The animation's beautiful. I love watercolors. That's my favorite type of painting style. But the problem is like I'm trying to get invested in this emotional scene, and I am, but I'm distracted by the constant change in the background. And I know you say it's animation. It's animation. It's cool, and you can do whatever you want. But at the same time, it is subjective in the fact that that's going to be distracting for some people, and it was distracting for me.
I don't know. For me, it just adds to the emotional intensity of the scene.
Like how?
Because the visual representation for me just works. I mean, I'm much more invested in the scene because of that, and I think it was an intelligent decision. Not to mention that again, I haven't really delved deep into the SpiderVerse comics, but
I have not either.
But with the comic books that with Spider-Gwen, that is the artistic style of those comic books. So they do translate it pretty well. And honestly, it's just beautiful. I think it looks pretty. So.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to actually getting back to Miles Morales. I love this character. He's my personal favorite Spider-Man, probably next to like Andrew Garfield's probably up here for me, but he's like Miles Morales is like right there. From that first movie, he endured the crap out of me. He's like probably my favorite all-around Spider-Man. Oh, geez, all-around Spider-Man. I think he encompasses every aspect of Spider-Man in a very perfect. Where you can say Andrew Garfield was too cool to be Peter Parker, or Tobey Maguire was too nerdy to be Spider-Man, or he wasn't quippy enough. Like I feel like this Spider-Man is a really good all-encompassing character, to where he's really quippy as Spider-Man, and he's really nerdy and kind of one of the like the smart kids, but maybe not fit into his social environment.
See, and one thing I want to add to that is specifically about this movie is that they don't really do in the comic books very well is. In the comic books, in the Ultimate comic books, Miles is basically kind of just a black Peter Parker. What I like about the movies in particular is they define Miles as his own separate character, and they even go out of their way to say this is not Peter Parker. Mm-hmm. This is Miles Morales, is a completely separate character, but he is also Spider. He is just as much Spider-Man as everyone else.
Yeah, you push that a lot closer.
Yeah, no, Miles, I think. I don't know if he's my favorite per se ever of all time, but he's definitely like top 2, top 3.
He's definitely second to like Tobey Maguire. It's Peter Parker to me.
Well, the good thing about this is, at least about the two movies, is you have a bunch of Spider-Man to punch off of. Like probably my second if not favorite character in all of these movies, or at least in the last movie, was the Jewish Spider-Man, and in this movie when he has a kid, which, well, you can get into the like ifs and buts about like bringing your kid to a freaking fight because he has a kid with his Gwen and he's bringing the kid to his fight. Even when he has the chance to like leave the kid, he brings the kid.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
What is that?
I'm not gonna lie. I know it was for laughs. I personally didn't like it at all. I thought the kid was adorable. I think bring the kid in, right? Well, like first introducing the kid, all for it. Mm-hmm. Super adorable. You're happy for Peter.
Yeah.
But like,
when you're riding a train to space,
I can't justify that.
Yeah.
Also, what's her name?
Mayday Parker.
The pregnant chick.
Oh, that is Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman.
I hate her character.
She's a frustrating character.
I hate her so fucking much. And no, it's not because she's black. Fuck off. It's because she's fucking pregnant and she's like, I'm going to ride a motorcycle and I'm going to fight and I'm going to do all this dangerous shit. You bitch.
You wouldn't do heroin or smoke weed or do any of that stuff with your kid in your belly, but you would be fine with jumping into action, fighting this weird interdimensional being. Really?
Now, I'm sure some people might be like, well, actually, if you think about it, because it's like a Spider-Man kid, it'll probably be okay in the womb. What? What?
Still very irresponsible.
That's so stupid.
It's like he's probably confused, like, mommy, what's going on?
Lot of endangering of
Mommy,
kids
stop.
in this movie.
Mommy, stop! What's going on?
A lot of endangering.
Sit down.
A lot of endangering of kids in this movie. Like,
I don't agree with that.
Taking your kid to a like literally
Oh,
when he
you know
literally
what?
so he chases Peter Parker, right? Or he chases Miles Morales on a train to space. That's one thing. Okay, maybe you had to, maybe you couldn't leave the kid behind. You're Spider-Man. You're very powerful. You may be able to protect the kid. You could argue that maybe.
Guys,
like you took the kid back and then you took her back to go after Miles Morales. What are you doing?
I was very upset with Peter.
Yeah.
Now, guys, I think I know why they gave the go-ahead to let a pregnant lady do all that shit, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's to show that abortion's okay. It's fine.
Because the kid's probably dead in there.
It's probably fine.
In the next
Bro,
scene, she's
baby's
just not
probably
pregnant.
just
Her
going
body, her
"Whoa,
choice."
fucking-"
She's just not pregnant anymore.
Oh my gosh.
This movie's a lot darker than we actually think.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
It's her attempt at
dark humor.
It's
getting
okay,
a
you can
miscarriage.
speak.
Getting a mis-
By the way,
she's just trying to get a miscarriage.
what's this movie rated? It says rated PG.
PG, which I know what you're about to say. Honestly, the amount of language in this film for a PG film blew my mind.
Holy crap! I didn't even realize that.
There was
It's
a lot of
PG
language.
movie. You have two uses of the word ass. You have to say what the hell is going on here.
Mm-hmm.
I think they said damn at some
They
point.
said that.
I'm pretty sure they said damn at
They
some
said
point.
shoot in place of yeah.
Well,
So they couldn't do that.
The reason why they did that was just so that all the really smart, perceptive children in the world who are watching this film can notice the poster in Gwen's room. There you go.
What?
Oh my God.
We'll get there. We'll get there
We'll
at
get
the
there.
end. We'll get
We'll get
there
there.
at the end.
I'm just saying.
It's gonna be a natural transition. You can't bring it in yet.
See, I get that one.
We need this for our viewers.
Okay.
Need this for our view. Who's watching this?
But what I
No
want to
one.
get to is, since we've been kind of
Hi,
jumping all
Mom.
over the place.
Hi, Mom.
So we jump from the story of Gwen Stacy. We go into Miles' universe. He's going around, and we're introduced to Spot. Possibly one of my least favorite villains in the comic books, but in this movie, let
Dude,
me just say,
Awesome.
What a great
Perfect.
villain.
Dude.
the progression of Spot is perfect in
Dude,
this movie.
Spot.
on.
Spot on.
No, honestly,
well done.
the introduction of he was played by that guy who played one of the evil X's in Scott Pilgrim, the one with the glasses and.
Oh,
I've never seen Scott
Oh,
Pilgrim.
yeah, you've seen it though, right?
yeah, but it's been a while. But I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so he's played by that guy, and honestly, he's the perfect pick for this because he adds that goofy nature, but he also is a very threatening presence toward
Yeah.
the end. And oh my gosh, just the fact that he is an absolute laughing stock. And what I do like in particular is how Miles Morales laughs at his name, which is a throwback to the comic books in particular, because when Spot introduces himself to Peter Parker in the original comic, Peter Parker just sits on the floor and he just laughs. He just has his hand over his head and he's just dying because of that name.
There's a weird like transition for like James Gunn had the Spot guy in Suicide Squad, and now there's Spot in this, and somehow they're making those characters work. It's kind of a weird thing. But no, I love the way that they actually are able to make fun of the character at the beginning, but still transition him into a genuine threat by the end.
Oh no,
sorry.
I think it was super incredible how his design too. At first, like he's just goofy, right, to look at, but then through his like evolution or whatever, he looks fucking menacing as fuck.
Oh yeah,
what a cool design. I love how they inverted the colors, where like if he was primary white with the black spots, now he's almost all black with the white spot. It's
awesome.
What I love about it is how he went from just like tripping and saying like sorry, having bread fall out of his stomach, to I'm going to kill your dad.
Yep. I'm going to kill your dad.
That was beautiful. He's just like, oh, look at me. All right, your dad's dead. Just
fuck.
Development.
So let's go ahead and just talk about the ending at this point. So in the marketing material for this movie, they did not do a good job in saying that this is a part 1 of 2. Why am I looking over here? If you didn't know that, this is part 1 of part 2. Because again, I didn't know. Like, I didn't really know that going in. I knew that because of what other people said. Based on the marketing, you can't really tell. So at the end of this, it's a cliffhanger, which we're used to at this point. Infinity War had a cliffhanger. Empire Strikes Back. Technically, The Dark Knight is kind of a cliffhanger, and but the difference within those movies is technically there is still the end of a certain story.
There's
Infinity
a
War,
resolution.
there's a resolution.
Yeah.
In Infinity War, Thanos has completed his quest. In The Dark Knight, Batman has completed his quest. And even at the end of Empire Strikes Back, the heroes are at a point to where they know where they need to go and they're planning their next move. But it's the end of that specific story. It's the end of that resolution of Darth Vader's Luke's Far, all that stuff. It's still the resolution. This is not a resolution. This is a straight up, like, we just stopped the story. We just stopped telling the story.
My problem with it is that they ended, it's as if they ended the movie with a scene that didn't end yet.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's my issue.
Now, I do want to dive into that because I'm 50-50 on the ending. I don't mind the fact that it's a cliffhanger and that the overall story will finish in the next film. I have no problem with that at all. However, the point that it ended at seemed very awkward.
Yeah, it was.
It did not seem like a natural ending. It did not. It was just a weird place to just cut it off. However, narratively, when it comes to the character's development, I think that it was satisfying. Because we start the movie off with Gwen Stacy. She talks about how she doesn't do friends anymore, how she doesn't want to put other people in danger, to realizing that she needs friends in her life. And that's a completion of an arc right there.
Yeah.
And we're going to pick up from that arc. Same thing with Miles. We go from everyone telling Miles, well, what's your story? This is how your story, that's your story, and this is your destiny, to Miles saying, no, I'm no longer going to accept this. I'm going to write my own story. That's the end of a character arc right there that will continue in the next film. Same thing even with Miguel O'Hara. He starts off as an ally in this film and then becomes one of the antagonists toward the end. I think there are complete arcs in this film that come to a conclusion that we're going to be picking up on from the next movie. Next movie.
I can kind of agree with that, but my only problem is I feel like if it ended there, like if it ended with the realization with those specific points, I would have been fine. But it picked up on two new characters. Well, two new quote unquote characters, but Miles Morales accidentally gets transported to his to the original universe where his spider bit him, because his spider actually belongs to a different universe. And so he transports there, and he realizes that his uncle is not only alive, but not the Prowler in this universe, that he is the Prowler. And so it introduces two new characters. And, two new characters for this universe, and it doesn't explain their motivation for being those characters. So it just stops with that. And I feel like I needed the motivation of those two characters before you can just end on that kind of cliffhanger.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. Again, the point at which it ended didn't make sense. I don't really mind it being a cliffhanger and not being a complete film per se,
right?
Because I think that the development was overall narratively satisfying. However, I do think this movie should have ended like 30 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I talked about how in general, I don't like cliffhangers. I should probably have let me express my point better, right? I typically do not like cliffhangers, but I know that cliffhangers can be done well. I don't think this cliffhanger was done particularly well.
Yeah, I know you were talking.
Right. Oh no, go. What's up?
I know that you were talking about how you are often disappointed because sometimes the series doesn't continue.
Yes, so but obviously that's not the case with the Spider-Man movies. I know that for certain, right? But typically, whenever like a cliffhanger happens, right, with a lot of shows, I'm like, yeah, I was kind of invested in. There is no next season. There is no continuation. I'm like, what the fuck? And like, and that's why usually cliffhangers leave a sour taste in my mouth, because it's, for me, it's a lazy way to generally to end something, because there's no proper conclusion. Now, granted, like Star Wars Empire Strikes Back is probably the best example I can give with a cliffhanger that was done exceptionally well, probably, right? Because, it was a proper resolution, right? And even though it kind of ended on a somber but like hopeful note, like it still, it felt like a complete story to me, right? Where like this could be a book and I could read through the book and it didn't feel like, like the story didn't properly conclude, right? But if I read the Spider-Man film as a book, right, and it just ended with the scene between, Miles and Gwen like going on this new journey, I probably would have been very disappointed in a book that ended like that.
100%. It's the difference between finishing, like leaving a story off in a natural conclusion and just leaving a story. There's a show called Red vs. Blue that's online. I love this freaking show so much. But it shouldn't have continued past, like, it used to be like a comedy show based off Halo, but it ended up being
about Rooster Teeth.
Yeah, it's talking about Rooster Teeth.
Old Rooster Teeth was so good.
So awesome.
Hey, okay, you know what? Fuck Spider-Man.
Rooster Teeth, hell yeah.
No, we're talking about Red versus Blue now. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
go on.
I know Liam doesn't know anything about this, so I'll keep this short.
You should watch it. You should watch it.
Red versus Blue is so freaking awesome.
It's so good.
It's so awesome.
I'll take your word for it.
Seasons 1 through 10 is great, especially seasons 6 through 10 are top tier Red versus Blue right there. It should have stopped there.
Yeah,
it didn't. It continued.
I know people are going to comment on this when we said that they didn't market it very well about it being a two-parter, that this is the first part of the story. Yes, I know that technically, at least I was told, that the first trailer advertised it as a part 1, right?
Yes.
But after that, it was no longer advertised as a part 1.
Because it was originally going to be Across the Spider-Verse Part 1, and now they just gave them separate titles, which honestly, I'm not really a big fan of that. They could have just called this a Part 1.
Yeah.
Because it truly is a Part 1.
Yeah, I think that was just a no-go, because here's the thing. I know a lot of people aren't like me, but I just don't watch trailers. I don't watch advertisements of films. When I hear of a film coming out, I usually am like, okay, cool. I just want to go in blind. Like, because here's the reason why, is because I feel like nowadays trailers for movies I think they reveal their hand too much.
Yeah.
Like, for example, you want to know what's been a really sick reveal in Thor Ragnarok. I think them having Hulk in the trailer was a huge mistake.
Yeah,
it would have been
I can see that.
So fucking cool to have revealed Hulk. Like if they had just kept it hidden, I think the reveal of Hulk would have been so good.
Oh yeah,
it would have been so good.
And Thor's reaction to him would have been just as perfect too.
Yeah,
he's like, yeah.
I mean, it was honestly, it's like that situation with Toby and Andrew in No Way Home. They were in none of the trailers.
Yeah.
So when they appeared, I mean, we all
knew.
To actually get it confirmed in the theater and not in the trailer.
Oh yeah,
was wonderful.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I almost missed that. You were there. I almost missed Andrew's entrance. Yeah. I thought it was a great opportunity because I didn't think they would actually come in until the very, very end of the film, and they actually were in the film way more than I thought. So I thought it was a really good time to go pee in the movie.
Yeah.
Huge mistake. I walked into the theater right as Tobey Maguire walked out of that portal, and I was like, what? What happened? And I missed some crucial information, but I at least got to see Andrew Garfield walk into the room. It's like, no way.
God
got
had your
in
back.
the second. Like,
Because I heard rumbling in the theaters, and I sprinted and I saw him as he jumped out of the portal, and so I got there just in time to see him, but I almost missed him.
You almost missed it. That would have been very unfortunate to miss that.
I would have
moment.
been so angry
because honestly, like, there was a point in that movie
Yeah.
where it was starting to like pass. It was like, maybe they just aren't in the film.
Yeah.
And then they appear. I was like, that's perfect.
It was
like, they get
so
you,
good.
They get you right when you think, okay.
And they were in it for
can't
so much
possibly-
longer than you actually thought they were going to
Oh
be in
yeah,
it.
yeah. I thought, because again, the movie was probably like almost over by the time. Well, it was at least another 40 minutes, but the movie is pretty long in general.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, all right, I guess they're just not showing up. And then they did.
And they did.
It was wonderful.
They made it so much better for
Oh
it.
my
I still
gosh.
watch that movie, and I'm still shocked that they're in the movie. It's
Yeah.
still technically speaking, they're in the Spider-Verse, but they're like in can. It's not like it's footage taken from their original movies, so it's not really in it. But we do get to see a live action Prowler with what's his name? I forgot his name.
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover, yeah. Donald Glover plays the Prowler for like half a second.
Yeah.
And because he was in the Spider-Man the first one, Spider-Man Homecoming. And he there was a deleted scene of him actually mentioning Miles. And so technically he is the Prowler in the actual MCU universe. And so that was cool to see.
Well, yeah, even when they like show, like when Peter zooms in and pulls up his information, it says Aaron Davis, aka the Prowler, underneath it. So that name is used in the MCU. However, I do want to jump back to the movie we're talking about real fast.
Oh, yeah.
One complaint that I have is I really wish that we would have seen more of Spot. Because he does kind of just he does disappear like pretty much in the middle of this movie.
I actually think there was a tasteful amount with him in the film. I mean, I could always go for more Spot. Like I thought he was awesome.
Sure.
But I don't think he was underused or anything like that, personally.
It was replaced by oh my gosh, what's
Miguel
the other
O'Hara.
Miguel O'Hara as the villain for that part. And so I can take that being multiple villains at that point, so that didn't bother me as much because I know they're really building him up for the next movie where he is a genuine threat now, and you can see that how powerful he is now, and you know how much of a threat that he's going to be. So that I didn't mind. I feel like they did a tasteful amount, especially for the fact that they built him up more as a threat than a joke, because they really took him as a joke at the beginning, and they had to take some time to no, this guy's gonna mess some crap up in the next movie.
Oh yeah, well, okay, that's fair. I guess it gives him a jumping off point.
Yeah.
By the time the next film comes out, what did everyone think of Miguel O'Hara in the film?
I really liked him.
I really did enjoy the screen time. I liked that he's basically the straight man for literally like all the jokesters. I loved how just serious he is, but it just adds to his humor.
It really did, because he's surrounded by a bunch of people who don't take anything very seriously.
Yeah.
And so to that angle, he was the perfect straight man that no one could take seriously, because
Well, that's because Spider-Man and Peter Parker, right? You know, but the character Spider-Man doesn't take things very seriously for most of the time.
Yeah. But, I mean, knowing his backstory, knowing what he actually went through, and it's pretty dark if you think about it, because his entire universe was annihilated, like Thanos style. And so seeing that was actually pretty dark, and understanding, like, the burden that he bears, it's understandable how serious he would be. And so you get his motivation, and you get how serious that he is. But again, seeing him bounce off, like, the Jewish Spider-Man, the one with the kid, seeing him bounce off him is awesome. Seeing him bounce off the other Spider-Man are great. And so that was fun.
Do you know what continuity I really liked though? Back in the first film, where the spider that bites Miles, it also glitches out.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did.
Oh, you mean the first one? Oh yeah. It glitched out.
Yeah.
That was a
That
great.
is such great attention to detail.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Oh yeah, the attention to detail in these movies is amazing. Sorry, go
Continue.
ahead. The only issue that I have with a lot of this is sometimes it can be information overload.
Right.
And I don't necessarily mean that as a bad thing, because a lot of the time it's amazing to take in all of this detail that all of these animators and the directors spend so much time. The artistry behind this film is amazing, do not get me wrong, but sometimes it can be information overload. And it's like, there's so much crap going on, I have no idea what to look at.
See, I really loved the kind of switch they did in the second movie. How in the first movie, all the other characters were glitching out in the film, but in this movie, we're seeing Miles actually glitch out.
Yeah.
And to me, I just love seeing it, like the tables turn.
Yes.
It's a very small thing, but it was one of the moments where I was like, yes.
Yeah.
It's great.
I was like, yes.
Now, I will say, as a personal fan of this show when it was out originally on Cartoon Network, Spectacular Spider-Man
It was
got a
on
cameo.
Cartoon
Oh, dude.
That
was-
was Disney XD.
Oh, sorry, Disney
Yeah,
XD,
yeah,
whatever it was. I don't know, but Disney XD, whatever. When Disney XD was out and fun, and Disney Channel was awesome.
I
Man,
miss
I'm
that.
so happy Spectacular Spider-Man got a
Oh.
speaking cameo.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
yes.
so awesome.
Yes, possibly one of the best Spider-Man shows of all time. I am very glad that we at least had some kind of look into the future of that character, mainly because he's the one holding Captain Stacy when Captain Stacy dies. So we get to see a bit of his life after that major cliffhanger. Again, we'll get back to cliffhangers, but Spectacular Spider-Man ends on a cliffhanger of
Yeah.
Norman Osborn walking to the airport, and he's like, well, you don't have to, something is like, you don't have to worry about it. I never do. And then the show was just canceled.
Oh my gosh.
This is what I mean. This is why cliffhangers mostly suck. They're mostly garbage.
Well, that's not the show's fault, because they didn't know they were going to get canceled. But hey, Disney, do what you did with the Clone Wars.
Well, no.
Pick it up, finish it.
No, but that's the thing, though, right? It doesn't. So, when you're making a show, you should never expect to get a new season. Never expect to get an additional season.
Okay.
Right? Never ever do that, because things like this just happen. Right? That's why every season must have a proper conclusion. I mean,
And while I understand, and that is a fair point, I do think that it's very different for a show, because a show is a long, winding piece. There's multiple seasons to most shows. And I feel like, especially with the IP of being Spider-Man, I feel like there was an expectation of continuation. And so I don't think it's fair to put that burden on the show. And even though I do agree with that point, it's not the same thing as a movie. The movie, you can't have that kind of cliffhanger in a movie, because it's very different.
Now hold on, Spider-Man shows are not like, they're not protected from getting canceled. There have been plenty of Spider-Man shows that have gotten canceled.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe that's
yeah.
right.
I believe the '90s one was still slated to continue. Spider-Man Unlimited was canceled.
Yeah.
Spider-Man the new animated series was canceled. So
No,
like
there-
it's
there are-
nothing new with
there
the
are
Spider-Man
plenty of
series.
shows that deserve all the seasons in the world, right? But they just get canceled. Like Teen Titans, right? The original Teen Titans. I love
Such a great
that
show.
show. What a great show!
Such a great show.
But wasn't the I don't know if this was the last episode, but like it was such a for me it was not a satisfying way to end the show, but it was with
They ended it with a movie, though. That was cool.
what movie?
There was a Teen Titans movie that actually came out, and that was the way they ended it.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough, but no, still like I think, but it wasn't the last episode where like Slade, Beast Boy, and like Tara who lost her memories or whatever. I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember the ending of Teen Titans, even though I did love the show. I don't even think I actually remember finishing it, to be honest with you, for
fair.
whatever reason.
But no, but point stands, right? There are plenty of really popular shows that are
Yeah.
exceptional, but they don't get proper endings because they just get canceled.
That's
My
fair.
name is Earl.
Yes.
Never seen
One
it.
of the worst
Oh my
cliffhangers
God.
ever. Where it's just like, oh, he's my son, and it's like, all right, we're never gonna get an answer to that one now. So
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Oh, you know what show that did get a proper fucking conclusion after years of waiting? I don't know if you guys ever saw Samurai Jack.
Oh, I've
never-
seen the original show. I have yet to watch the Adult Swim one.
Dude, it's pretty good.
I really want to
it's
watch
pretty
it.
good.
And when I heard about the announcement, I was very excited, and I just never watched it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's why generally speaking though, I don't think cliffhangers should ever for the most part be used to ever end your show.
And that's
I'm fine
fair.
with it. I'm fine with episodes having cliffhangers. That's fine.
And that's fair. But again, like to the point of cliffhangers, it makes more sense in a TV series than it would be a movie. If you had that kind of cliffhanger in a movie, that doesn't make, because movies are a more complete experience. TV shows are always going to want to leave you hanging. Mm-hmm. So to that end, I understand, but again, it's a very different format. But even so, I get the point. So with all that said, what would we rate? What's everyone's rating for these movies? I guess starting with me, I would probably give this one probably like a 9. I think I'm going to give it a high rating because I had a really good time, even though with the flaws that I talked about. I had a really good time watching this movie. It was probably like a 9 out of 10 for me.
What about you, Liam? What would you rate it?
We'll go with you first.
No, we'll go with you.
We'll go with you first.
We'll go with
Lord
you.
have
We'll go with
mercy.
you.
Are you people dating?
Because
Freaking-
I'm the transition part. All right, you.
That's
go.
true. He is the transition. Go ahead.
I'd say it's probably. I'd give it a strong 8. It's
Okay.
a strong 8.
All right. So I actually have 3 ratings for
Could have been a light 9.
I have 3 ratings for this movie. Visually, 15 out of 10. When it comes to
That's not how rating a.
Oh, I don't care.
Liam's dyslexic.
Visually, 15 out of 10. As far as character development is concerned, 15 out of 10. As far as the movie itself, I will give it an 8.5.
There is no halvesies.
I
There
will-
is no.
an
No, no,
8.5.
no. Fully
You
commit
can do
to
a
a.
half.
8.5. I'll knock
Bullshit.
half a point off because it ends awkwardly, but overall, that doesn't really affect my view on the movie. And then I gotta knock a whole point off.
Oh no.
Because of the blatant propaganda in the background, the whole protect trans kids propaganda, which honestly did bother me so much that I took a whole point off of this. I am so tired of seeing grooming bullshit in media, and I'm very upset by it. And if you're not upset, you're just a bad person. Speaking of grooming,
Yeah. So let's talk about The Flash. Here's the thing. I'm very excited for this movie. I very much want to see this movie.
Yeah.
I think all of us want to see Michael Keaton as Batman. I think all of us want to see this movie that a lot of people are raving about. A lot of people are getting this movie's getting like rave, like, oh my gosh, this is one of the best superhero movies. I don't think it will be the best superhero movie, but it's definitely gonna be entertaining. It's definitely gonna be interesting, and I definitely want to see all these characters return. I want to see Ben Affleck. I want to see Zod again. I want to see Supergirl because she is really hot, and I want to see Michael Keaton as Batman because every time I hear his theme on the freaking screen, I get goosebumps. I love the old Batman. Well, I love the second old Batman. I actually think the first Batman Michael Keaton's in is kind of overrated. But I love the second Batman. I think it's an underrated piece of artwork that no one ever talks about. But I don't understand one thing about the movie. I don't understand one thing. The less than harsh treatment that Ezra Miller has been getting. And with the amount of stuff that he's been doing, that has been happening around this freaking... It blows my mind. It really does blow my mind. If any Hollywood actor, or really any normal person did, they'd be already in jail, but because this person is in The Flash, they get special treatment.
Well, no, I think Keanu Reeves would get special treatment.
What?
No, yeah, if he did, like, if he, strayed from his righteous path and did that, I'd give him a freebie.
No. What? Are you on crack?
I agree.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add a joke.
So
if John Wick's killed as many people as he does in if
we did talk
Keanu
about this.
Reeves
Yeah,
we
we
did,
did talk
yeah.
about
kill
this.
as many people in John Wick in real life, and they were all bad guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's Keanu Reeves.
it's
Come
Keanu
on.
Reeves.
Keanu
man.
Reeves.
He sits in trains and gives old ladies the seat on trains. He's fine.
I'd love to meet Keanu Reeves.
He
Just-
seems like a chill dude.
Oh yeah, if I
Love to
could
meet him.
Like, we will get back to Ezra Miller, but real quick, like, if I could just spend like even just an hour just having like an old fashioned with him, just to pick his brain, be cool. Anyways,
Blows my mind.
now back to the Jackass.
Yeah, back to this freaking piece of crap.
Yeah.
Look, I still want to see this movie, and if Ezra Miller is good in the movie, then Ezra Miller is good in the movie. That's not going to necessarily take away from the crap that Ezra Miller's done some amazingly terrible things. Yeah. But I want to bring up Jonathan Majors for a second. Jonathan Majors is currently in court for a potential lawsuit from a girlfriend because she said that he hit her or there's been domestic abuse in their relationship. I get that. Marvel's putting his contract on hold for... what's the villain he plays again? Freaking Ant-Man. Kane, or what's his, is that his name?
Are you talking about the black dude?
Yeah, the good black guy.
Yeah, Kane.
I'm gonna look this
The
up.
one who's like, there's multiple versions of him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Kane.
Is it?
Yeah.
What is he? Hold
think
on.
so.
We got to do our research for this.
As you can see, we're well informed.
Very much. If he did do that, then screw him. He deserves to be in jail for that because it's a horrible thing to hit your wife or your girlfriend, whatever. But if he didn't do that, then the girlfriend deserves to be sued for all she's freaking worth. I get that. But so many people have dropped him, and fairly so, have dropped his contract because of the accusations that have been under it. Understandably so. And if he's responsible for it, he deserves to be in jail. However, the fact that this same thing has not happened to Ezra Miller blows my ever-loving mind.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous that you wouldn't take serious precautions to either take him out of the movie. I know reshoots cost a lot. I know it's incredibly difficult for these things, but it's morally reprehensible to keep him in the movie. Again, I'm going to go see the movie. Let's be fair. Let's be fair with my own hypocrisy.
You're morally reprehensible.
100%. I'm a terrible human being. Don't use me as a good example for anything ever. But
Your
it's
moral
ridiculous.
compass is a fucking roulette wheel.
Eat my left toe. So again, it's a weird thing for him to be continually promoted and people saying like, yeah, we'll keep him in the sequel. We're not going to recast him. It's like you know the things that this person's done, right? Like it's
Like, so I haven't really been following it myself. So like, is it like confirmed shit? Like,
Some of it's on camera. Like,
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
him attacking someone is on camera.
oh,
yeah, he's attacked someone in public. He's stayed at someone's house and then attacked them, and they called the cops on him. And afterwards, they didn't press charges or whatever. But that happened twice. That happened freaking twice. And so much of this stuff has happened. And it happened so much. Like, I know Ezra Miller's in therapy. And do I want him to get better? Of course. But at the same time, you can't just do all this stuff and still get...
where's the punishment?
And the fact that
Where's the punishment? Yeah. If you are grooming a kid, I know some of this is true, but if all the accusations of you doing stuff to that kid is true, you don't deserve any respect at all from anybody. That blows my freaking mind.
him is a bad person.
He's not a good person. So, I don't know. That's my view on the Ezra Miller situation. I don't respect this person because they haven't given an example of they haven't given a good reason of being
Right.
respected. Like you haven't given me any reason to respect you at all.
By the what are the pronouns that he is trying to?
He's trying to use they them pronouns.
How
Really?
can you be plural?
What is he like?
Motherfucker's trying to be plural, which he will be plural
He's multiple
in the
people?
Flashpoint movie because he's going to meet.
That's
his
true.
former self.
Maybe that's what happened.
Honestly, referring to they actually may be accurate.
Wow,
That makes sense. Yeah, maybe there's a second Ezra Miller
This
out
was
there.
planned from the
This was
beginning.
They had to honor his pronouns in the
Yeah.
film. They were like, "All right, listen, we're gonna give representation for them. Who's them? You."
Both of us. The Flash is not a movie; it's a documentary.
Oh God.
They go by the pronouns in the movie. How could someone be plural?
Please. Oh man, if they were just like referring to them as them, like
Jeez,
I would hate it, but I would also love it.
Bro,
that would be kind of funny.
you know there's some like trans advocate who's watching this and like who what might have been a fan of ours, no longer.
Oh, no, but a lot of times I called him he.
Do whatever you want.
Remember,
all
wasn't
the
there like
time.
Yeah.
wasn't there there was like a school shooting, right? And like there was like plenty of like advocates that were like saying, well, you know, maybe if like his pronouns were respected and all that stuff, this wouldn't have happened. It's like, what? We're still going on about that? This person killed children.
This is a really big leap from SpiderVerse.
That's right. That's what this topic was.
Oh, that's the topic.
Oh yeah,
Sorry,
I forgot.
There was a build up. There was the trans kid. There was the grooming bullshit in the background of the movie, and then we got to Ezra Miller, and now we're just angry at people now.
We're just
Honestly,
angry
no,
people.
but no, seriously, great film though. Great, awesome film. Like 8 out of 10.
Yeah, and
8
maybe
out of
The
10.
Flash will be great. I'm not gonna lie, I'm mostly gonna see it for Michael Keaton. Again, seeing his theme and
Seeing his theme.
seeing his theme. I can see themes.
Oh, boy, howdy.
I can hear colors and see
Seeing
music.
this thing.
I can hear colors.
I can hear colors.
He whips it out.
This is probably our worst episode yet.
I'm a crack.
It's a side episode, though. It's allowed.
It's true. It is a side episode.
It's not a main
This
topic.
is-
It- look-
This is the episode that will get us canceled, though.
Yeah, we've been pretty PC up until this point, and
Have we?
I have.
let me take that back. No,
pretty PC.
I'm very PC. Well, no, I'm not PC in public. I'm PC on this podcast, ironically enough. I have a job where I take care of some high school kids and younger kids. I don't want to hear them see me cursing. So I never want to say
That's
that on
fair.
this podcast. So that's why I do that.
Pussy.
Bitch.
Cunt.
So should we stop the podcast suddenly, just kind of like how SpiderVerse stops the movie?
We should all gasp at something like in the corner that no one can see.